Okay. So we're starting in kneeling, and we're actually going to use our magic circle straight away. Or if you don't have a magic circle, just insert football whenever I say magic circle, okay? And we're just going to start with it just in our hands, just in front of us. So ideally, if you can, have your toes just kind of pointed like that, or relaxed, if you know what I mean, rather than having them tucked in. We'll use a bit more balance if we don't tuck our toes in under us, if you can manage it. Okay, and you're just with the magic circle, you're just going to hold on to it with a proper grip using your fingers and your thumbs and everything. And we're just going to rise it up in the air and back down again. And we'll do this a few times. We're just loosening out the body a little bit first. And back down again. And up. Trying to think about what we're doing with our shoulders here. We want to keep our shoulders down. In other words, if you're lifting something above your head, we try to avoid hunching our shoulders like that up towards our ears, okay? So we're just trying to nudge our shoulders down into our armpits a little bit and rise up. And back down again. And down and up. So just trying to think about those two elements there, having the shoulders down as we rise our hands in the air. Beautiful. And let's do one more time. Well done. And coming down, we'll just hold it in front like a steering wheel. This time what we're going to focus on is having our hips pointing forwards. Okay, so we're just going to do a little spinal twist, but it's just coming from the upper half of the body. And back to center and over to the other side. And back to center. And again. Back to center and to the other side. Again, just thinking about keeping our shoulders down, but there's not as much of a challenge there with this one. It's really more about trying to keep our two hips pointing forwards. Lovely. Let's try 2 more pairs. Just get the rib cage moving. And 1 more each way. Shoulders down, hips forwards. And just turn and turn. Now we're going to come overhead again. And this time we're just going to work on our lovely side bend. Go back up to the center and over to the other side. So it's happening from the waist. We're stretching from our waist up and over. So think about reaching the magic circle up towards the ceiling just before you side bend. So there's a lengthening in the movement. And you should hopefully feel a nice stretch down through the side of the body. We're just waking up those side panels and maybe even into your armpit, especially into the back of your armpit, if it's a little bit tight there. Lovely. We'll do 1 more. Lovely. And we're going to stay overhead and do some more rotations in this position. So again, just keeping our hips forwards and just turn. So if you're turning to the right, what we're really conscious of is that the right buttock stays kind of tucked forwards. Okay. And if you're turning to the left, then we just try and really focus on the left buttock, tucking that in. So it's working the glutes actually, as well as everything else. So turn to the right, give your right glute a little squeeze, just to stabilize the pelvis on that side, and change direction. Left glute gives a little squeeze. And we're just trying to work with that range of movement as much as we can, try to keep our shoulders down, elbows straight. Lovely. And we'll do 1 more each way. Okay, last one. Coming back to the center, we just rest the circle down. We're going to sit back on our hunkers. We can pop the circle to one side and just have our hands in front of us like so. So we're just working on trying to sit our hips back towards our heels. Okay, give our lower back a little stretch. If you want to give it a little rub. We're still in that very first little part of our class this morning. So we're working on just getting everything loosened out. Okay, what we'll do now is we'll walk our fingers away from our face. And we're just coming into child's pose from a slightly different angle when we're kneeling. So fingers are reaching forwards. And if you're comfortable to do it, you can rest your forehead on the floor in front of you. And we're going to take a few nice deep breaths here. So breathing in and blowing out. Breathing in through your nose. Blowing out through your mouth. Breathing in. Blowing out. And we're going to come back up again. So just reverse the movement, lift your head up. Just walk your fingers towards your knees. And then we're just going to gently come up off our heels. And we're going to pick up our magic circle again. Okay? Now, before we go back into the magic circle, let's just do a few little neck and shoulder movements. We're just going to bring our chin to our chest. And look up to the ceiling. And just take your time with this. We really want to give our necks a nice opportunity to free up before we go into everything else. We don't want any surprises with our neck. We'll go forwards and backwards one more time. Lovely. And then back to center. Just lengthening up through the back of your neck, the back of your head, connecting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Chin dips down ever so slightly, and we're side bending. So all we're doing here is we're just bringing the earlobe towards the tip of our shoulder. Lovely side bend and swap. And swap. And swap. Again, just thinking about our shoulders. Keep our shoulders down. Kind of nudge them down into our armpits a little bit. And that just increases that lovely stretch. And then back to center. Just a little posture reset. Just lengthening up through the back of your neck, back of your head, crown of your head lifting, chin dips down. And we're just going to turn. Head only this time, so the whole body keeps facing forwards. Just bringing our chin around to the tip of our shoulder and back around to the other side. And swap. And swap. And back to center. Lovely. And then just roll the shoulders up and back. Nice, big, juicy circles. And let's go up and forwards. And let's go up and back. Really squeeze your shoulder blades together at the back. When we roll backwards, try and get that squeeze on with the shoulders, shoulder blades. Squeeze them together in the upper back area. Okay? And a few nice deep breaths. You're going to pop your hands on your lower rib cage here, breathing in. And blowing out. We're trying to get that lateral expansion there, breathing in. And blowing out. Breathing in. Blowing out. Lovely. So we've got our magic circle in front of us again, a proper full grip here. This time we're going to stick one leg out to the side. So we're like so. Okay. We're going to do the same movements again, really. So we're just going to rise up and down. We'll do 3 of these. Up and down. And again, up and back to steering wheel here. Keeping our hips pointing forwards, we're rotating. Back to center and over to the other side. Bit different with one leg out to the side. There might be a bit of a balance challenge, but it's probably more that you feel a stretch in some different places. So maybe the inner thigh is getting a little bit of a stretch, or the hip. Okay. Coming back to the center. We're going overhead. And we're side bending towards the long leg. And we're up and we're over. We're side bending away. And just play with that movement a little bit. See how it makes you feel. You might feel with some of those that the side of your glutes there are working quite hard. So this here, we probably have a bit more movement than we did when our knee was in under us. And away is probably a little bit harder because this glute will work to stabilize us. And let's go one more each way. Lifting your circle up to the sky. Let's do a little twist. Back to center and around. So really sending that circle up towards the sky. Elbows are straight, shoulders are down. One more time. We're going to stay here and do some leg lifts on this leg here. Okay, so they're kind of what I'd say more attempts. If you know what I mean, there won't be probably massive big lifts, but just get yourself steady on your kneeling side. And we're just going to lift that leg up in the air. Maybe just try 6 or 8 times there. What we're trying to work on is our stability. You can see when I lift my leg, I kind of wonk over to the side there a bit. We're trying to strengthen the kneeling side. Okay, we'll try 2 more. And rest them back down again. We're going to swap sides. Other leg comes out. And let's just do our overhead lifts. 3 of these, up and down. Just loosening out the shoulders and the thoracic spine. Coming back down into steering wheel here. We're going to turn. I'm just working again on keeping the 2 hips pointed forwards. So a little bit different when we turn towards the lengthened leg. We really feel we have to work that glute there. And the glutes are working quite hard. Okay, back to center. Well done. Overhead for our side bend. So side bending away from the long leg and towards it. There's definitely quite a challenge there, I think, on the side glutes in some of these reaching positions. So reaching the circle up and away, elbows are straight and our shoulders are down. Let's try 1 more each way. And back up to the center and our little spinal twist, keeping our 2 hips forwards. Well done. Just breathing normally. We're trying not to hold our breath, really. Okay. Back to center. If your arms are getting tired now, you can put your arms down if you want to. And let's just try to work on a few little leg lifts. Just get your balance. And we're lifting like 6 or 8 times. Breathing. 7 and 8 and resting down. Well done. We can pop the circle to one side and let's come back into our child's pose again. So just sitting back on our heels, give the lower back a little wiggle. We want to give it a little rub. Okay, and we're just going to walk our fingertips away from our knees. And if you feel up to it, then you can rest your forehead down and take 3 big, nice, deep breaths. Breathing in and blowing out. Breathing in, blowing out. Breathing in, blowing out. And coming back up. Lovely. So a little drink of water there. We're going to stay in kneeling just for the moment, just to work a little bit into our legs, and then we'll be off our knees. Then we'll be into some other positions. Okay. Yeah, if there's anyone that doesn't want to kneel, we're going to be stretching out our hip flexors and our hamstrings from the kneeling position. So I'll just show you a couple of alternatives if you want to, if you don't want to kneel anymore. So the hip flexor stretch, we can do it in a few different ways. One thing we can do is we can do it that way. So we're just bringing our heel to our bum and just squeezing the glute. We get a lovely hip flexor stretch there. Or if you don't love that, you can kind of get into a little bit of a lunge on the ball of your foot there and bend your knee and tuck in under that way. Okay. And then for the hamstring stretch bit, if you don't want to kneel, you can do it that way. Okay. Just cock your heel out in front and your knee is straight and you're just holding on to your toes. Okay. So you'll still get exactly the same stretch with no problem whatsoever. Okay. So from kneeling, then the way it looks is that we just put 1 foot forward. So we're coming into a split kneeling position. And we're trying to have our foot in line with our hip and knee. So we want to avoid this kind of a thing. We're just trying to go in front there. Okay. And the foot should be straight and not turned out or in. Okay, and from there we're going to work on stretching the hip flexor here. So we're going to pop our hands on our knee, on our front knee. If we need to walk our foot forwards, we can, and just lunging forwards and feel that stretch on the hip flexor of the back leg. So if you feel you need to reposition that front foot, move it forwards a little bit more, just so you can go forwards into the lunge a little bit. Okay, and you might find as you're doing it that it softens a little bit, so you could just work with that a little bit. You might find, oh, it's really, really tight at the start, but it kind of releases out quite well as you're working on it. So just listen to your body and just see what you're able to do, and just holding it there, breathing in and blowing out. And on the out breath, we can deepen it a little bit more. Okay. Sometimes they can feel, these hip flexors can feel like they're clinging on really tight at the start of the stretch, and then they just go whoo, and they kind of melt away. Okay, breathing in and blowing out. Okay, and we're going to come back up out of that, and we're going to stretch the hamstring of the front leg. So this foot, if you're coming from kneeling, we're going to send it forwards, just straightening out that front knee. You can rest one hand on the floor and just use your other hand then to hold onto your toes. Okay, so it's pretty much the same hand as the leg you're stretching is holding onto the toes. And then the other hand then is just resting on the floor just for a bit of balance. And just really get in, if you can get your hand in under the ball of your foot here, and just try and draw it up towards you. You'll feel a very big stretch here, especially in the calf muscle, and maybe into the hamstring as well. And then just listen to your body. Feel a good strong stretch, but not any pain. Breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Breathing in and blowing out to come out of that. And we're going to swap. Breaking up the place here. Okay, so we're just swapping our foot around. And just there is a little bit of a balance challenge in that. Okay. And then just moving forwards into the lunge. And if you're not quite feeling it on that hip flexor there, you can just move that front foot forwards and just keep moving it forwards till you find that spot where you really feel that your hip flexor is stretching out for you. Okay. Trying to keep our two hips forward and squeeze the glute of the back leg. And we're stretching the hip flexor there of the back leg. Holding here, breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Breathing in and blowing out to come up out of that. And sending the front heel forwards, using the same hand to reach for the toes, ball of the foot, and then the other hand then is just going to rest to the floor for balance. We're trying to straighten out that knee and feel a good solid stretch down through the back of our hamstring, back of our knee into our calf muscle, and just trying to draw our toes towards our face. We're looking at the leg that we are stretching. Breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Breathing in and blowing out to deepen. Brilliant. Okay, now we can have a little drink of water there. Well done. We're into our abdominals next, okay? So we're going to use our magic circle or our football. We're starting in a long sitting position, and we're going to do those lovely C curves and rollbacks and things like that to work the tummy. We've got 2 sets of exercises for the tummy. We'll do this one now. We're going to do some bridging. We're going to work the inner thighs, of course, when we have the magic circle out. And we're going to do some work on our spinal muscles as well, our back extensors. So we're going to be hitting the main muscles in terms of strength now, the abdominals, the inner thighs, the glutes, and the back extensors. Okay. So this is where the magic happens. We're going to have the magic circle in front like a steering wheel. And again, like that, we just have a full grip on it, okay? And shoulders are down and elbows are straight. And let's just work on our C curve. We're nice and mobile now. This is why we do what we do. It's because we want to engage the tummy muscles. And this is why we loosen out the thoracic and the hips so much, because they can't function if we're not able to get into our positions and activate the tummy. Okay, so we're just C curving down, slumping down, and then extending back up again. Okay, so we'll C curve down, and then we'll come back up again, and we'll move the circle from steering wheel overhead to our halo position. And back down to steering wheel and C curve, and then up, rolling forwards on our sit bones to rise our arms up in the air and down. And up. We'll do 2 more pairs, reaching up, 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 and really just have that back extension there. Really good for our posture. And up. And then we're going to come back down into C. Curve, shoulders down. And we're just going to do our half roll back. So just rolling backwards, keep our shoulders down. Just rolling back till we feel the tummy engaging, wherever that is for you. You feel a bit of a hold here, a bit of a shudder here. Holding here, breathing in. And blowing out to come forwards through the C curve. So it's like you're trying to send your head through the circle. Okay. And then rolling forwards on the sit bones. And at the last minute, then we dive up and straighten up our spine. Okay. We're in C curve here and steering wheel. Half roll back, keep the shoulders down. We're holding it here. Breathing in. And blowing out. Breathing in. Blowing out. Breathing in to stay. Blowing out to come back up again. Breathing in. Blowing out. Breathing in. And blowing out. This time we're going to go all the way down to the floor. Breathing in. Blowing out. We're bringing our lower back to the floor first. So control, control, control. Middle back. Upper back. Head. And then the circle keeps going, or the football. Reaching back and touching the floor behind. Breathing in here. Lengthen the neck, bring the chin to the chest, and we're off with the magic circle again. Blowing out to sit up. Through the C, sending our head through the circle and swooping up. Breathing in. Blowing out. Controlling the descent, shoulders down, lower back meets the floor very gently, very slowly, middle back, upper back, head, the magic circle meets the floor. Breathing in. Lengthen our neck, bring our chin to our chest. Blowing out the circle. Pin your lower ribs down into your tummy to tuck ourselves up using our tummy muscles. Through the C, the head goes forwards and up, 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 up. Breathing in. Blowing out. Breathing in. Blowing out. We'll do one more. Breathing in here. Blowing out. Breathing in. Lengthen your neck, bring your chin to your chest, blowing out. Pin your ribs down in front and sitting up. So they're all the same cues as we do with our sit-ups. Okay, same thing. Resting the circle down. And what we do is we'll just bring the soles of our feet together and just give our inner thighs a little release. Okay, well done, everyone. We're waking up our core. That's fantastic. A little sip of water. Feel free to take that anytime. So speaking of inner thighs, we're going to do the inner thighs now. And I apologize greatly in advance for the inconvenience caused. For those of you using a football, it's a little, this is the only one where it's slightly different. Although it's exactly the same really, but the circle will have a little bit more movement in it, that's all it is. So we're using 3 positions with the circle where you squeeze it a little bit, then you squeeze it a bit more, and then you squeeze it as hard as you possibly can. But it's the same, it's exactly the same in practice using a football or a cushion, okay? There maybe even a bit more subtle, which is kind of a good thing, you know? Okay, so we're going to set ourselves up then in our Pilates position, lying on our back. We've got the circle just above our knees, and the paddles are just against the soft part just above our knee joints. It's not actually touching the knee bones at all. It's kind of the very lower part of our inner thighs. And football is going to go right in between our 2 knees, or cushion, okay? And then we're going to lie back and just spend a little bit of time just setting ourselves up here, okay? Because anytime we lie on our back like this to do, whether it's our sit-ups or our bridging, or we're going to be doing scissors in a minute, or our leg slides or whatever else, we need to be in our Pilates position. So we're lying on our back with our knees bent up. Our head is in the center, so it's in line with our body. And ideally, we don't have anything under our head. But if you feel that your head is kind of like slipping back a little bit, definitely just get something kind of flat, like fold up a little towel or something like that, and just put it behind your head there, just to kind of feel that your head is in line with your body, okay? Sometimes that can happen. We've got our 2 knees bent to about a 90-degree angle, so we don't want to have our heels too close to our bum. We want to have our knees to about 90 degrees. Our feet are going to try to be hip width apart. And our knees are going to try to be hip width apart to start with. Now, there's a lot of work happening there with the circles already. We're going to, for everybody, whatever you've got, doesn't matter, we're going to work our pelvis, tilting forwards and backwards, and just finding a mid position between those 2 extremes. So you will have a little gap behind your lower back, and we're going to work on just keeping our pelvis in this neutral position throughout the exercise. So with our feet as close together as you can make them, and still in parallel to each other, we're going to let our knees open out now, just to take the work out of the inner thighs, okay? Unless you've got the ball, keep the ball in there. And we're going to squeeze just a little bit and let it go. Okay, and same thing again. Let's just do a few little repetitions just on that first position, okay? Squeeze a little bit and let it go. So just giving the circular ball a little nudge, okay? We're just starting to recruit our inner thighs here. So we're working inner thighs here, having worked our outer thighs with the kneeling with the leg out to the side, okay? So this is the balance across the pelvis, just working the 2 elements, okay? Both need to be worked on, okay? And let's squeeze now more than just a little bit. Let's squeeze a kind of a medium amount there, and let that relax. And we'll just stay with that, nice and simple. Just squeeze a medium amount and let it relax. Lovely. Squeeze a medium amount and let it relax. Well done. We'll do 6 more of these. Squeeze and relax. Not a huge challenge on the pelvis. So it's kind of a nice one to work on in this position where we don't really feel actually tempted even to move our pelvis. It should feel, you know, fairly stable, fairly unchallenged that way. Now we'll do 2 more. Squeeze to kind of that medium amount. Well done. And last one. And relax. Now we're going to squeeze as hard as we possibly can, okay? So if you have a football, imagine trying to burst the ball. Okay, and release. And with the magic circle, imagine trying to break that circle. Squeeze as hard as you possibly can. 3. And we're just breathing normally. 4. Feeling a little bit of a burn now at this stage. 6. The inner thighs are probably kind of the most underutilized muscle group in the whole body, really. So that's why it's so nice to incorporate them in a Pilates program, because they stabilize the pelvis and the lumbar spine and the hips and the knees, everything really. Okay. We're going to do our few little pulses now. So we're going to go back to our first little position. So just a tiny little squeeze. And we're going to pulse 10 times on that position. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, then we're going to squeeze a medium amount. And we're going to pulse 10 times on that position. Pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to squeeze to the max, okay? So imagine you're trying to burst the ball, imagine you're trying to break the circle, and pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, jelly legs, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to hold it. So squeeze as hard as you can, hard as you can, hard as you can. 1, 2, 3, hard as you can. 4, 5, 6, hard as you can. 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it. Just release to that medium position and hold for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release just to the first position. So we've still got a little bit of a squeeze on it. So just control with the release, holding it there for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax, well done. We'll take the circle off and just rest on our chest. And we can just bring the soles of our feet together. Let our knees open out like a butterfly and just do our little flaps, okay? So I'm sorry about that. But it's actually magic. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant work, brilliant exercise. And you won't be sorry that you've done it, okay? So let's give the inner thighs a little bit of recovery time. If you want to even give them a little rub, you can, or a little clap, okay? All right. And we'll give the lower back a little release as well. So let's bring our knees kind of together. If you can, Joel, mine are like jelly now. And bring our knees up to our chest. I do think actually personally that admin, the inner thigh strengthening has just been transformative. I would have been very, very weak at the start, kind of shockingly weak. Because nobody had ever asked me to do that exercise before, you know. So I'm sure there's a lot of people feel the same way. And if you feel like it's never going to be easy, because you're always going to work as hard as you can. You're always going to really work yourself. But it's really, really good. And it's up to you then how much effort you want to put into it, you know. We're just rocking from side to side here, just to give the lower back a nice little release. And then we can turn that into a nice circly movement. Just giving the lower back a little massage. And then change in direction. Lovely. And we can rest our feet down and let's do a little spinal twist as well. So dropping our 2 knees to one side, up and over to the other side. And if you want to send your top leg a little bit further forwards, you can. And just get that lovely stretch, okay? Whatever suits you there. And one more each way. Well done. Okay, so we're into our bridging. So we're going to take the circular ball and just hold it in our hands above our kind of shoulders. Okay, we're back in our Pilates rest position otherwise. So our head is in the center of our body. Our knees are bent up to 90 degrees. So we're going to walk our feet out a little bit and just have the knees at that right angle. Our feet are in parallel to each other. And our knees are hip width apart and our feet are hip width apart. And again, we're going to just wiggle our pelvis forwards and backwards and find that mid position there. Okay, we're going to stay in that mid position there. Okay, so from here, we're going to let's work on our scissors first of all, and then we'll come back to the bridging. So we're here with our hands, shoulders are down, elbows are straight. With scissors, as you remember, we're coming up into single tabletop, placing it back down again, and we're going to swap. So this is going to be centered on our tummy. Second set of exercises for the tummy muscles. It's just nice and easy, just engaging our core, lifting up into single tabletop, and back down again, and the same on the other side. So quite an easy movement physically, what we're doing is we're engaging our brain to not rock our pelvis. So we'd be tempted when we lift our knee up, we'd be very tempted to flatten our back, wouldn't we, like that? But actually we're trying to keep our pelvis in neutral. So when you wiggle your pelvis forwards and backwards, you find that mid position and you just stay there, even though you're moving your leg. Okay, single tabletop here, keep your chin on your shin. You want to keep your shin parallel to the floor and your knee is just above your hip. So we've got a 90-degree angle at the hip. We've got a 90-degree angle at the knee, and we just rest it down. So it's control, 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 and mindfulness. Okay, so we're going to go up now to level 2. We're here, we're lifting up the other leg, and the first leg goes down, and the second leg goes down. And again, up, up, down, down. We start feeling the tummy muscles definitely engaging here. Trying to keep the pelvis in neutral. So if we give the pelvis a little wiggle forwards and backwards, fully find the mid position there, and there's a little gap behind our lower back there. We want to keep that gap exactly the same. Now we can swap legs, so the second leg can lead up. Double tabletop is our destination, where our hips are at 90, our knees are at 90, and we can hold a tray of drinks on our shins. First leg goes down, second leg goes down. So up, up, down, down. And as we lift that second leg off the floor, you can really feel your tummy working. And then as we start to put the first leg down, you can really feel the tummy working. So there's 4 stages to this exercise. And stage 2 and 3 are where you really feel the tummy. So from here and here, that's where you really feel the tummy working, okay? Lovely. So we're going to come up into double tabletop here and stay here for level 3. So we just dip our toe and return it. And dip. And return. And dip. And return. And dip. And return. So we're going to add some breathing, blowing out, breathing in. Out for out, and in for in. So as we stretch our leg out, we breathe out, breathe in to bring it back. Let's do 4 more pairs. 3 more. We're looking up through the circle or looking at the football. 2 more pairs. One more. Lovely. We're going to put the circle through our knees, or our knees through the circle, and just hug our knees to our chest, give our back a little recovery. We're going to come back to that in a sec, and we'll just do a higher level. We'll do our level 4. So we're just going to rock from side to side here. Well done. The lower back, a nice release. And then we're going to circle our knees. Well done. And change direction. Beautiful. So the magic circle is going to come overhead, over our shoulders, I should say. Pilates position. Just tilt the pelvis forwards and backwards and find your mid position here. We're going to come up into double tabletop without disturbing our pelvis, so keep that gap behind the lower back. And we're going to tap and swap and swap and swap and swap and swap and swap and swap. Adding some breathing, breathing in, blowing out, and in, and out. 6 more. In, and out, and in, and out. 4 more. Two more. Lovely. And again, the circle goes over our knees, and we can hug our knees to our chest. Well done. That's really, really good. Another nice little visual work for the tummy there. Lovely. So rocking our lower back from side to side, and we can circle. Very well done, guys. Change direction. These recoveries are so important because they enable us to do more of the strengthening. We get a little recovery break for the muscles and we can do more work that way. Okay, so this time we're going to come back into our Pilates position, lying on our back with our knees bent up to 90, knees and feet hip width apart, feet parallel is very important for this one. And we're not going to worry too much about pelvic neutral for this one actually, because we're doing our bridging. The shoulders are down, elbows are straight, neck is lengthened. We're flattening our lower back and releasing it. So let's just work a little bit on the pelvic tilt, just in the backwards direction. Just squishing down our lower back and release. So we're starting to feel a little bit happening here in the glutes, okay? A little bit happening in the tummy, not a huge amount. It's mainly the glutes that are doing this. Okay. And then when we're ready, then we're going to flatten and we're going to lift our hips in the air. We're coming up into our bridging. Holding there. And back down again. Okay. Flatten and lift. Lift, 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 lift. Trying to really drive the two hips up as high up in the air as we can. And lower back down again. Well done. Flatten and lift. So it's a bit harder this way because we don't have our hands on the mat. Okay, and back down again. And let's try one more like this and we're going to stay up. Flatten and lift. We're going to stay up to do some toe taps. So just lifting our toes off the floor and resting them back down again. Rising the hips up towards the sky. We'll do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and lower back down again. Okay, feeling the hamstrings a bit there now at the back of the thighs. We're going to feel them a little bit more this time. Flatten and lift. We just need to rise the heel. The angle is so important with this one because if your feet are a bit too far away from you, you'll find it really hard to do the movement. Heel, heel. 5 more pairs. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And resting down. Let's pop the circle over our knees and have a little recovery break. Well done. Well done. And breathe. We're going to do a little bit more bridging. Just adding some bigger movements. Well done. Okay, so we're back down into our knees at 90. We're flattening and we're lifting. And from here, we're going to straighten out one knee. So we're going to just keep our 2 knees the way they are at the moment. They're beside each other, but just straighten out one knee and bend it again. And the same, swap and bend it again. This is quite a heavy exercise. So if you find that you'd rather pop the circle on your chest, have your hands down, you can. There's no problem. Just meet yourself where you're at today, okay? Well done. We'll do 4 more pairs. 4. Take a break if you need to. 3. 2. And 1. Coming back down. Little recovery. Well done. A little rock from side to side. It's really, really strengthening for the glutes, hamstrings, the outer hip, the inner hip, the calf, the whole leg. Okay. Right, we're back into it again. We're here, or we're here, whatever suits you. But I think this will be easier, and it should be okay to keep the circle above you, but just see what you think, okay? So we're flattening and lifting, and we're just doing a little marching on the spot. So we're coming up into our, pretty much into our single tabletop from here, okay? And just really work on stabilizing. So nice and slowly, because if you do this quickly, you probably think, oh, it's no bother at all. But to do it slowly really challenges our stability. bit of a balance challenge with this one. Okay, let's try 3 more pairs. Drive those hips up towards the ceiling. 2 more pairs. And 1 more. Lovely. Resting down. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Give the knees a little recovery there. Give the inner thighs a little recovery. Well done. We can pop the magic circle to one side. Let's just roll onto our side and sit up. Nice and carefully, and have a sip of water. Well done. The flow is done now. Well done. Great. We have one more little challenge to do. And this is an exercise we haven't done in ages. So I wanted to come back to it. It's the swimming lying on our tummy. But we have done versions of it, because on hands and knees, when you stretch out one leg or do anything with your arm in front, that's all from the swimming family as well. But we're coming back to just lying on our tummy. This is our last strength challenge today. We're lying face down. We're going to send our 2 arms out in front, like so. Okay. And we're going to rest our forehead on the mat. Toes are pointed and our legs are quite close together, although not touching. Okay. And the big thing with the pelvis when we're lying on our tummy is we need to kind of scoop it in under us. So just tuck your tailbone in under. So it's like that. You can see it. It's the same as we were doing lying on our back, just flattening our back. Okay. So we just scoop our tailbone in under by flattening our lower back. And then we're just going to lift our leg and lower it, and lift and lower. It's not a massive movement, because we could go higher, but we'd only arch our back. So we want to keep our back nice and flat and lift our leg without disturbing our pelvis. So we're pointing our toes and we're lifting our leg a little bit in the air without losing the flatness of our lower back. And we're just alternating right, left, right, left. Lovely. Let's do 6 more pairs here. Just at your own pace. Nice and easy. Squeezing the glutes, lift. 3 more. 2 more. And then we're going to do the same thing using our arms. Okay, so same position, same everything. Just lifting one arm off the floor and swap, do the other arm. And swap. You might notice it's a lot easier to do one arm than the other. Trying to keep our shoulders down away from our ears. Lift and lower. And 6 more pairs. Keep the tailbone tucked in. Four more pairs. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. And then we're just going to do some diagonals. So right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. Okay. Lifting the 2 at the same time. Keeping the tailbone tucked under. Just breathing normally. This is called swimming. Levels 1, 2, and 3. As soon as we start coming up onto hands and knees, technically they're called levels 4 and 5, but actually we would teach them as 2 separate exercises really. This has a lot of challenge in itself. Okay, let's do 4 more pairs of diagonals. Just notice yourself, have you got one diagonal that's a lot weaker than the other one? 2 more pairs. This is how we might solve some mysteries of why we have certain pains or aches or injuries. Okay, last one. And then from there, then we're just going to draw our hands in under our shoulders We're going to come up through hands and knees. We're going to keep going back into our child's pose here. Working on especially bringing our hips back to our heels. And then if we're happy, then we can walk our fingers away from our head. And if we're very happy, then we can rest our forehead down onto the mat. So just take 3 big, nice deep breaths. And blowing out. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. Last time, breathing in. Blowing out. We're going to walk our fingers towards our knees. Tuck our toes in under. And we're on our hunkers. Okay. We're going to rest our chin on our chest. We're going to drop our heels and straighten out our knees. And we're hanging over our legs. Fully hanging over, our head is heavy. We're looking back between our legs. Arms are dangling as well. Breathing in. And blowing out to deepen that stretch. Just hanging forwards, trying to touch your ankles or your toes or the floor. Just really trying to release the back of the body. Straightening out one knee, straightening out the other knee. Just play a little bit with that tension there. At the backs of the knees. Lovely. Breathing in here. And blowing out to deepen. Breathing in. Blowing out. Breathing in. Blowing out, we're going to come back up. We're going to keep our knees straight. Tummy pulled in. Chin on our chest. We're making our legs, our glutes, and our back extensions do all the work. When we have our bum fully tucked in under us, we're going to lift our head up and roll our shoulders back. Okay, a few nice big circles there. Well done. Brilliant. Fantastic, well done. And we'll do our little cool down. Oh, there's the rain now. A little bit of rain there happening. Okay, so we're just going to rest onto the ball of our foot and circle. Well done, everybody. And change direction. I find the magic circle fantastic. Just very toning, you know, really gets your muscles to pull in. Well done. Let's give a nice bit of a circle there and change foot. And change direction. Let's do the same movement, but just a little balance challenge. So stand on one leg, point your foot, and do your circles. There's rain now. Here anyway. And change direction. And change foot, get your balance, point and circle. Change direction. And then we're going to just bring our feet together, have our hands on our knees, and just bend and straighten our knees. Do 3 more. And keep it bent this time, and we'll do a circle. So you're stirring the bowl of soup. Here, big, big circle. And change direction. Back up again. We're going to do our hula hips. Big circle. And change direction. And let's send one foot a lot wider and lunging to the side there to feel a stretch on the inner thigh here. Again, just working with the movement, so you can always just reposition. If you feel it kind of melting a little bit, you can just shift your feet and kind of go with that. Okay, breathing in. Sometimes muscles are not tight as such, they're kind of just gripping, and when you work with the breath and you work with the stretch, they can just sort of melt. Okay, so just, and that's why it's kind of nice just to spend a little bit of time with the movement and take your time, because you actually can get sometimes much further with the movement than you think. Okay, we'll swap legs. So something like a stretch can really listen to your body, and I find if you just breathe in and blow out, you're deepening them with that. Breathing in and blowing out. And then just walking our feet in. Let's stand on one leg again and just move the hip out to the side, back in. Little touch off the floor if you need to, or if you don't need to, that's fine as well. You can just do your hip circles. Really loosen out these hip joints here. And we'll change direction here. So it's going across the other leg. A bit of a recalibration there of the balance. Do a little toe tap onto the mat if you need to anytime, okay? And then we'll change foot out to the side and in, out, up and down. You might hear a few clicks and clacks and pops and stuff. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything. It's just moving parts moving. That doesn't mean anything. You're going to turn, change direction. And onto the other leg. We're going to hug the knee up towards our chest and get our balance. And we're going to turn. So we're going to turn away from our standing leg. Ooh, balance. Oh, turn away from the standing leg. And come back to the center. And turn towards the standing leg. Come back to the center and swap legs. So just this in itself might be enough. If you want to try a little turn, it is hard, but it's good to try it. Just even standing on one leg is great for us. A little turn towards the standing leg, and a little turn away from the standing leg. And back. Okay, lovely. Let's breathe in. And blowing out. Same again, breathing in, just always thinking whenever we're rising our arms above our head, shoulders down, shoulders down, shoulders down. So just trying to get our brain to always do that. So we don't even have to think about it, that movement goes with that movement. There's no other way that you would ever do it. That's the way you're kind of trying to train your brain, but that's just what we do. Anytime I raise my arms in the air, my shoulders have to move down. And then hopefully when we're not even thinking about it, our muscles will be so strong and our brain will be so strong that that will be the way it would happen. So we're taking stuff off the washing line in a hurry. We're not going to hurt the tendons in our shoulders because we've got really good tracking. Okay, breathing in and blowing out. Going forwards and out to the side. Squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit there. Breathing in. Squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit there. We'll do one more like this. Breathing in and blowing out. Squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze the shoulder blades. And well done. That's the job done now. I'll just stop the recording there. Say goodbye.